Hey everybody, it's Lex from PDQ.com. You ever had one of those days like, the angels sing, you get new hardware? Awesome, right? Well, today I'm going to show you how to move PDQ deploying inventory from its current location to some new hardware. The other thing, maybe you inherited PDQ deploy from a colleague and you want to put it on a server or your own machine. Either way, we're going to get it from one system to another system, and I'll show you how to do that and show you some of the bumps along the way. Anytime you move anything, you cannot have this discussion without going into backups, okay? Always back this up. So let's just go and do a quick backup of deploy. Now, I'm just going to move deploy. The way you move inventory is the same way. It's just, redundant. So unless you guys enjoy watching me click and type wrong, we'll just do the one. So we'll go to preferences, go to database right here. If you've enabled automatic backups, thumbs up to you, but we're going to move this so we want the most current version. So I am going to hit backup now. Some best practices. Jordan, best practices with backups. Any thoughts?
Well, I guess just know your requirements, like size-wise and how often you're backing up. So if you have it to back up every day and you're only keeping 10 copies by default, you only have 10 days of backups. That's probably not sufficient. So I guess know how many backups you can keep and probably set the schedule to fit within your needs.
I agree with that. The other thing I would do is, you'll notice right here, this guy is backing up to the machine that it's on. So catastrophic failure, my backups are gone. So I'd highly suggest you move that to a file share or just a different machine. Now, once you hit that backup, we're going to just open the folder, and you'll notice I've got a couple of them here. I ran one early this morning, and there, check that out. That's the latest, 1002. So I've got a backup, which is good. Now, the other thing, obviously, you need to do is install PDQ deploying inventory on a new machine, which I have done on Allen Rails, because installing PDQ deploying inventory is super easy, and watching me do it is probably not all that much fun. But you guys will see here, I've got deploy, I've got no packages, it's a basic install. It doesn't even have my parameters. Look, it's showing the webcast, and I always turn that alert off. So I'm going to take you through a couple of different ways to do this. Okay, the first way, we're going to go, so I'm going to move this from Guinness to Allen Rails. So I'm going to minimize Allen Rails. And the first way we're going to do this is I'm going to go back to that backups directory, or excuse me, I'm going to go to program data, admin arsenal, inventory, right there. That database DB, and in fact, I'm going to do this just because I know JJ, well, I circled a whole bunch, but it's just that database DB right there, that file.
Good enough.
Yeah, he wants us to use the highlighter. He doesn't want us to use it well.
just use it? Okay, how about that? That better?
Makes me
Underline it. A whole lot of underline. All right, so that's your file. That's the file we're going to move. Now, a couple ways to do this, and I'm going to show you both ways. So this is the way I like to do it. So there's the database, right? Now, I've got it running on Allen Rails, so I'm going to open a additional file explorer, and I'm going to go to Allen Rails. I'm going to go to C drive on Allen Rails, and of course, I'm going to go to the C drive. Oh, see, that's why they don't let me type ever. Cancel. There it is. I did this earlier today. Boom. All right. So the location of that database, the new database, is going to be in the same place where the old database is, unless you moved it. But under program data, admin arsenal, we'll go to deploy. Check it out. There it is. Now, before you move it, you have to stop the services, which, let's go do that. We'll stop that service on Allen Rails. So here it's deploy is running, and we're just going to close that, and then I'm going to go to services, and we will go stop.
And it's important to know the name for deploying inventory of the database is the same. It's just database.db, so make sure you keep track which one you're copying. I say that from experience. Nothing breaks, but you will get errors about that's not a valid.
Well, I don't know about nothing breaks. It won't work.
It won't work, but you can still copy in the correct database, and it will be.
If you copy the inventory database, I'm going to do a really bad impression. You copy the inventory database, dude, into the deploy area, you're not going to have a good time. So
that was
weak, wasn't it?
You're going to have a
was
bad
that
time.
cringy?
You're going to have a
You
bad
can't even
time.
say it.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, God. All right. Wow. I try to do an impression, and the abuse.
Should have pizza instead of French fried.
I should have pizza instead of French fried. What, that South Park?
Yes.
All right.
Hey, you got
Hey,
part of it.
I got part of it. And now I'm lost where I'm at. Okay, Allen Rails. There's that database. I'm going to name this one old because we're going to do this twice. So I'm going to rename this one to old because we're going to put it back. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to go not to inventory, thank you, Jordan, but to deploy to grab that database DB, and we'll just copy that over. Now, Colby, we were talking briefly about this the other day. Any caveats in regards to just copying the database over than stopping the service?
I don't believe so. The main thing is stopping the service, because if the service is still running, you may corrupt your database.
Very, very good point. All right, I'm opening this up, and it should match what we've got here. You'll notice I've got that thingy and some packages there, and when deploy opens on Allen Rails, we should see that. Now, do I need to, if I've got a bunch of different credentials, Colby, do I need to copy the registry security key over?
Yes, otherwise you will have to re-enter all of your credentials.
I'll show you guys that in a minute, but that is a caveat of sorts. But check it out, custom package, that thingy, you'll notice there is the exclamation point, which means it doesn't know where the install files are. So all I did was copy the database over. Database is basically instructions, not the install files. Jordan, thoughts?
Yeah, so if your install files are on a file share somewhere, you can just change your repository and that will connect for you. Otherwise, you're going to have to re-download all those files.
Absolutely. Now, if I go check, you'll notice these haven't updated yet to show, but if you look here and I go into that, the file doesn't exist. So that's one way to get over. I'm going to show you how to copy the files over in a second. I'm going to show you the other way to do it. That's way number one. Shut the service down, copy the database over. We'll talk about that security registry key in a bit. So I am going to go stop this once again in services. We'll stop that, and I'm going to put that database back that was there. That's Guinness. There's Allen Rails. So I'm going to delete that guy, and let's see if I can actually type today, or at least delete. There it is. Yep, change it, and then we should, when I open this back up, we should be seeing that fresh database that has nothing in it again. And then I will show you the second method for getting the database moved.
Before we get into that, I have a question, because I'm in the habit of, if I'm copying over a database like that, the one that's existing, I just rename it to .old. So it's still there. I know we're doing the backups, but is that basically with the backups, is that just a waste of time, or just having it there kind of? I find it's convenient, but
It's always good to have a net in case you'd mess something up. I mean, I agree with you, man.
I mess up a lot, but I'm just wondering if other people are like, no, that's a dumb mistake. I wouldn't do that.
I think that's a great idea. There we go, guys. We're back to the old. There's no packages. There's no that thingy database or package in there. So this guy's back to the way it was. Before we do the second method of moving that, let's take a question.
Dear Lex, Jordan, and Colby, does the backup/migration carry over customer user fields or custom user fields? For example, purchase date, warranty info. Thanks, B. Womack.
Hey, Womack. Yeah, it does actually. That is stored in the database, and that should move with your database. Absolutely. Good question. All right, second method. I'm going to pop up this blog that Mr. Hanks wrote, and I got to tell you, this is awesome. Jason does some of the best blogs ever, and the reason is he's so very concise about it, and he puts images in there.
FYI, this isn't a blog; it's a knowledge-based article.
That's what I meant. Thank you very much.
You're
Knowledge-based article. There it is. I don't know, Colby, can you pop that into chat so people can read it? So basically, we're going to restore a backed up database at this point. That's the instructions on how to do it. I'm just going to walk you through the process. So basically, we have our closed up. I have so many windows. Let's go pull that backup file, right? So we're going to open up C, and then it's under program data, admin arsenal, PDQ deploy, backups. Easier way to do that is just go straight to deploy and hit show me the backup files. we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to open another one. We're going to open Allen Rails. We're going to move that backup file over to that same spot on Allen Rails. So I hopefully don't close this down too many times today, but program data, admin arsenal, deploy, backups. Now, apparently that was the one I tested this morning. So let's just get rid of that. Allen Rails. We'll get rid of that guy because we don't need it. And so here's the one we ran right there this morning. I'm just going to move this over and drop it in that backup directory. Now you'll notice this database.0.0.db. I believe, isn't that from the install? It's just kind of anytime you do an upgrade, you may have one of those, that kind of thing, Colby?
Yeah, I think it's something that we got rid of at one point, but it came back.
We got rid of it, but it came back?
Yeah, it's basically just an empty file.
Empty file. There we go.
Or close to empty. Looks like there's something in it, but it's just something you can ignore.
Now, I am going to jump back into deploy on Allen Rails. Okay, that backup file exists. Now, I'm going to show you guys a really cool trick that I learned yesterday. If you want to open an elevated command prompt, go to help, elevated command prompt, and the nice thing, it drops you right where you need to be. Now, the restore of the database is done from the command line, so PDQ deploy. If I hit enter on that, you'll notice here's the list of commands we are going to run at restore database. So, oh, I can't do it. I was going to say, you want to take bets whether I can type database out? Restore database. Okay, when you run that, the first thing that's going to come up, it's going to ask you that the console appears to be running. You want to kill it? Yep, need to kill it. Give it a yes. Background service is running. Do we need to kill that? Yes, we do. Then it's going to give you options of which database to restore. Obviously, we need to restore number 2. So I'm going to give it a 2, give it an enter. It says it's done. So at this point, close this, and we open deploy, and we should see that thing in custom packages.
Do nothing you do.
And if I had custom variables, those would be there too. While that's opening up, should we hit another question?
Hey guys, if we want to do a clean install and not migrate the databases, would exporting all inventory collections and deploy packages as XML be the best way to bring them over to a new instance? Sincerely, JD Aquino.
I think that's the only way you can get them across if you're not going to restore the backup is exporting them all to XMLs and then importing them.
Well, one fun way you can do it, if you have access to both the old and the new system at the same time, you can just copy and paste, because when you copy, it copies it as XML onto your clipboard.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Maybe we'll have to try it. I just opened, well, that finally opened up, guys. Check it out. JJ, I'm going to use this thing twice today. There it is, that thing. Again, we got the warning because we don't have the proper install files. Now, I'm going to take you through moving the repository next. We want to do another question before we do that?
Dear Lex, Colby, and Jordan, can I just import the PDQ backups from the original system for PDQ deploy and PDQ inventory into the new system after it has the PDQ deploy and inventory installed with the new system? Thanks, Guy J.
Hey, Guy, that's what we just did, I think.
Yep. The answer is
absolutely. Yes. I like this method. Again, now there's one thing, caveat. I want to show you something before we move the repository. Check this out. On Guinness, I'm in central server mode. Okay, Allen Rails, after I did the restore, I'm not in central server mode. That's something you have to go reset. Obviously, if you have clients pointed at central server mode, obviously they're going to need to point to the new server. So that's another thing you need to be aware of. So. And again, central server mode, and that is just as simple as, obviously going to options, not where I went, but central server mode promoting us to a server. So, all right, repository. So let's, did I open preferences? I did. Preferences. Let's go look at, in Allen Rails, here's our repository. Okay. Obviously, this is not where the repository, our install files are. So, we need to move those. Now, if you're moving these, from, console A to console B, and you want to start moving your install files to a file share, now's a good time to do it. Ultimately, you can just, again, I've got my backups here, program data to locate on your local console, public document. I need to learn how to read. Admin arsenal, deploy. There's our repository. Okay. That's one way to find it. Again, the other way is you just go to repository, open the file folder from there. Now, I can, on Allen Rails, go back and find that exact same location. Again, public documents, admin arsenal, PDQ deploy repository, copy these across, and that's going to be fine if you're not planning on putting on a file share. Okay. I'm going to move them to a file share just to show you how to do it, but again, copy, paste, boom, you're done. I am going to move these to, we have a DFS file share, which we built, I don't know, webcast 4 or 5 months ago called Breakfast Eggs. There it is. So I'm actually going to move these guys, I'm going to copy these over to the new repository. I'm going to paste in that new repository. We'll go view that and make sure that, see, there they are. Boom. Good deal. Give that a save. And now that does not exist. It exists on the C drive and that thingy exe. Doesn't exist in the regular repository. Again, if you're moving this, it's a good time to actually start using variables for some of your custom packages. Let me show you what I mean by that. So that thing, we're just on this on Guinness. We'll go to the C drive and go find that thing. There it is, that thing. That's it. We are just going to copy that entire directory over to eggs. So copy. Let me get that. Boy, I'm like the mad bomber when it comes to clicking today. Boom. So drop that there. Now, if I open this up, here's the new path to get to that. Okay. I'm going to copy that because. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into options and variables, and I'm going to put, we'll just call this custom rep for repository, and that this is a best install files that are.
So for
Yeah.
earlier, when people talking about exporting and importing the collections,
Mhm.
if you do that, it will automatically create that new variable. If the collection has a variable in it, it'll create it over for you, but it's not going to copy over the value. So you still have to go into the variable and add the value, but you don't have to build the variable itself.
Yep. Well, you notice it just found that thing, which looks a lot like 7-zip. I can close this, and now there it goes. It's local. So takeaway from that portion. Okay, repository. If you're going to move it to file share, it's a great time to move it. Okay, UNC path that bad boy. Okay, if you're moving it from A to B, just drop it in the same.
So I'd probably do the GUI on that one, but if it's something that's happening frequently, use the command line because then you can automate that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then again, if you've got customs that are not located, use a variable. Makes life easier. Now, do we want to take another question? And then I'm gonna show you a couple of things in the registry, the security key in the registry, and then I'm going to show you how to move a database. We'll talk about that in a minute. You have a question?
Yeah, we have a few actually.
Okay.
Dear Lex, would you need to have the same version of PDQ on both machines, or can you still migrate at different version levels? Sincerely, Jim L.
Hey, Jim. I would highly suggest it. I haven't tried it migrating from one version to another. I'm going to have to look to Colby. What do you think, man?
If your version on the new one installed and hired, it will attempt to update the database for you. If the install on the other one is older than the one, then it's going to have issues.
Okay, so as long as you're moving up, you're probably okay. Mm-hmm. I would just upgrade before you do the move, personally. But that's just
That'd
me.
probably be the better way to do it.
Yeah. Got another question?
Sure. I'm needing to clean out my repository. Is there an easy or helpful way to check what is being used or not being used in the repository? Sincerely, B. Womack.
Yeah. All right. So if we go to options, preferences, which is open, so I got to grab it from the bottom. Go to repository, right here. See unused files. So check it out. That 7-zip that I renamed or didn't need, those are the unused files. Truly, it's pretty as easy as Control All and then delete. Now, before you just go slamming that delete key, there may be files in there. Maybe Jordan was in there making a package and hasn't finished it yet. So just be, careful before you start nuking stuff. If it's yours, hit delete like this and you're good to go. Cleans it up for you. But that's where you're going to see that. It'd be preferences, repository, see unused files. Easy way to clean that up.
Yeah, so that list is files that are currently not tied to a package.
Thank
so it not necessarily not being used or not, it's just not at that time tied to a package, so it's still something you want to be aware of.
Yeah, it's back to that. Be careful before you just slam the delete key.
Yep, and I would recommend creating a custom folder in your repository and then excluding it, and then put all the files for your custom packages in that folder, so you only have to do the one exclusion. That way you won't forget to exclude the new thing that you added.
Leave it to Colby to make it efficient. I love it. Thanks,
He
Colby.
protects his data.
He does. I bet he's got backups.
I do.
I do. Do you want to do another question, and then we'll jump into the registry?
Dear Lex, Jordan, and Colby, I'm getting high CPU usage, and inventory version 18 seems to be the culprit. Running on a Windows 2012 VM, high CPU occurs about once a week, and the services/server need to be rebooted. Will migrating to version 19 on a Windows 2019 help alleviate the high CPU issue? Settings to change for PDQ inventory? JD Aquino.
JD, I believe every version we come out with, we plug little holes, little gaps. I believe they've done some performance, a lot of performance upgrades. Colby?
Yep, we've been working on performance lately. We have a beta out right now with specifically a couple of performance improvements. That release, we believe, will be out sometime next week. Also, if you're having performance issues, I'd recommend always reaching out to support. We like to track performance issues that way. As far as settings, probably the one big thing to check is your auto cleanup in preferences, because if the scan history gets too large, that can start to slow things down. Also, make sure that you don't have your concurrent scans set too high. That can kind of bog things down if you have too many scans going at once.
So right there, preferences, scanning, auto cleanup. Mine's set to 14 days. I've only got 30-something machines in mine. So, again, more machines, more days collected. So, all right, we had mentioned earlier about copying a database over, and let's say you got a bunch of credentials. To keep those secure, there is a key in your registry and one in your database. They work together to decrypt those. So if you copy it over to a new install, that security key is not going to match. So go to your registry editor. This is the one on Guinness, and looks like I am not anywhere close to where I need to be. Software. Admin Arsenal. Well, let's see. Let's go to inventory for now. That security key right there. Okay, there's the one for Guinness. Now we'll just pull this one up just for kicks and giggles on registry editor on the on Allen Rails. Inventory security key. You'll notice there. This one's EEBB and this one is DA25. Yeah, right. So obviously, if I had a bunch of credentials when I moved it over, if I didn't move this key over, I'm going to have to put in the passwords again. If I move that key over, I do believe we're going to be good to go with that. So that'll match your database and decrypt your credentials. That's one way to go about it. Now, either that or you type in the only two ways. That way or type in the new passwords and the new. So let's talk about moving a database. Why would you move it? I mean, we just migrated it from one machine to another. Let's say you're on a machine. Let's say Allen Rails is my machine. And I'm going to leave that because I need that. But and we're going to do inventory. So let's just pop open inventory really quick, which is already open. There it is. I've got 37 machines on here. Okay. Now, let's say I want to upgrade my performance, and I put an SSD drive in the machine. I want to move the database to that. That's one reason to do it. You had mentioned some people don't use a C drive as a default drive.
It's very uncommon, but I have seen it.
So you can do that. Let me just bring this up. There is a community post here from Adam Ruth, one of the founders, wrote this. on how to go actually move that. And you have to go add an entry into your registry to move that. So if, I don't know, Colby, if you can pop that one into the chat for everybody. Colby gave me that one yesterday. It was great. I'm going to do this live, guys. We'll see if this works.
Oh, what's the worst that could happen?
What's the worst? That I look more foolish than I normally do? All right, so according to this, close the console. I'm good at that. Now, before we do that, I just, if you go look at this, like, why don't I just go in here under Preferences and Database and go change this? Well, you can't because the database is in use. So obviously you can't do it here. So I'm going to close the console. Okay. Stop the inventory service. We're just going to follow the instructions. And if you spell service right, it's a lot easier to find them, right? I don't know why. I just, someday I'm going to learn how to well, it's not a matter of typing, it's spelling and typing, so I'm doomed. All right, service is stopped. Now, copy the database to the desired location. Excellent. So I've got a new E drive. Thank you, Brooke, hooking me up yesterday. So there's my E drive. I'm going to go grab the database from Program Files. Program Data Admin Arsenal Inventory. There's my database. I'm going to copy that bad boy. Again, I copy it in case I mess up. I can always point it back. I've got a database folder on E. I'm going to paste that in there. There it is. Okay, copy it, move it. Now, create the above registry key. So I had the registry already opened, still do, under Inventory, Software, Inventory Settings, Database. So let's go right there. Inventory, Settings, Database. We're going to add a new key. It's a string value. It's called file name, if I do remember correctly. Yep, it is called file name with the location of the database. So, file name. Spelling is key here. You'll notice I have to go and fix my spelling. File name, and then I'm going to put the value to my F drive, or my E drive, EDB. Control C. Again, copy and paste is my best friend because, well, you all see me type. So there it is. Close that out. I probably shouldn't have closed that out. Let's just start the console.
You closed it out because you have confidence.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all I can say to that.
Apparently I didn't do it right.
You have to include the file name, not just the file path.
Oh man, I was close. See, Colby is over here. Don't close it. Don't close it. So here's the troubleshooting portion of this. Registry editor. And I got to include that database DB, database file name, EDB, database.db. All right, learn from my mistakes, people. All right, I closed it again. Colby's going to work this time?
Probably.
He still doesn't have confidence in you.
Is it? That looks promising.
I just like how we say we're going to try this for the first time live. We've never done it, and you're still so confident twice to just close out.
Well, okay, I haven't done this. I know you guys have done this. The first time I've done this, okay, in eons. Boom. Now, if we go to Options and Preferences and look at the database, there we go. I actually did it after messing up horribly the first time. Hopefully that instills you guys with confidence in taking any information from me. The nice thing is, Colby's here to correct me all the time.
Just go with what I was showcasing is even if you make a mistake, it's easy to recover from that.
All right, let me see. Hey guys, what I wanted to show you is that even if you make a mistake, it's easy to fix. So, thanks. I can't pull that off. Do we have more questions, guys?
Actually, it's time for the speed round, ladies and gentlemen. Dear Lex and Jordan and Colby, is it possible to run PDQ inventory on one server and PDQ deploy on a different server? Thanks, Kircham.
Technically, you can run them on different servers. They just won't talk to each other. Now, they got to be on the same server to work together. Hey, I answered that in under a minute.
Under 10 seconds, actually. Well done. Hey guys, any issues migrating from a local install to a server install? Thanks, Jim L.
I don't think so. Where the state's not copied over, like when we went from server, it defaulted to local and then we elevated it.
Mhm.
So the opposite, I don't think it should be an issue where it defaults to the local, so you can change it from there.
Absolutely. What he said.
Hey guys, are there any issues with running the commands with PowerShell and not command line? Sincerely, Guy J.
I'm just going to let Jordan, because I know you're so passionate about this. Go ahead, man.
No, I've never had an issue with it. It's the same command line. You're just basically executing command line from PowerShell. So.
Yep.
Would it be best to have your repo pointed to a server share? Again, Guy J.
You know what? Would it be best? I like to put mine on a file share for a couple of reasons. One, generally your file share is getting backed up. You can obviously back this up, but that's one less place you have to back up. Two, the other thing, and I should have showed you this earlier, if you go to preferences, if you're on a share, which I am not, let me go point this really quick over to the web, that thingy. Let me go back here because it's right. Breakfast and eggs. Instead of having you guys watch me do this, because I'm going to run out of time for my minute, right?
It's pretty much already up.
Dang it. Anyway, eggs. Okay. Once you do that, it's always a good thing under performance to go and put that as a pull. And the reason being is from the file share, when you pull from a file share as opposed to being pushed from your console, it's going to send instructions to the end node to go grab it from the file share. So it's a little less copying that way off the file share.
Hey guys, not on the migration subject, but does the stop deploying to targets once they succeed in the scheduled tasks options reset when a new auto-download package like Chrome is received? Thanks, Jeff P.
Absolutely. I've got a schedule running that I probably should delete before it updates all my stuff. Target history is based off of, and I don't have any target history, off of your version number. So when a new version number comes out, this will be cleared and it'll roll off version number.
So by default, for the auto downloads, if you have your own custom packages, we have a webcast out there where we cover how we can kind of simulate the process.
Absolutely. It's called Automating Packages That Aren't in Our Package Library. Great web show.
New to PDQ and have been testing out in a trial, what options are available for remote users when using PDQ Deploy and Inventory? I saw there was an agent at some point, but not anymore. We have most of our users in an office on Active Directory, but about 5% work from home. Thanks, Jeffrey H.
So Jeffrey, when your people are working from home, are they connected VPN? Because you can, and we've got a great webcast Josh put together about things you need to do with your VPN to allow PDQ Deploy and Inventory to deploy to those remote machines. If they're not connected through VPN, we got a product going to be coming out that should help out with that. It's not an agent per se, but that's going to be coming out in the future here
Soon, TM.
soon. TM.
Hey guys, is there a way to automate the updates for Adobe CC and CC applications without having to build new packages from Adobe every time an update comes out and without user intervention to manually update them, like we do with Google Chrome, Slack, TeamViewer, etc.? Sincerely, Jerry A.
I'm going to go to a PDQ YouTube channel, and what's it called? Automating packages?
I think so, yeah.
Automating.
So while you're looking that up,
Yeah.
the reason we don't have that in the package library is usually we can't get past the licensing agreements of the software company. So if we can't distribute based on their agreement, we can't create the automated package. You can simulate something similar. It does require still a little bit of work on your part, but you can eliminate most of it.
This webcast from 10 months ago, it's still very relevant today. The great thing about it is basically we're going to show you how to put variables in the path, variables in there to make the dynamic collections, and basically all you'd have to do, there's a PowerShell script, follow the instructions in this. You just put, let's say you're going from version 10 to version 11, you put the new version 11 folder in that, Adobe CC folder, drop the install files there, and assuming that they haven't changed the name of the install file, if it's a setup exe or MSI or whatever, that PowerShell script should take care of that for you. But that's a great one to watch to help you out there.
Yeah, more often than not, from version to version, the install is going to be the same, but there are times if something does change, you would have to go in and update the package at that point.
Yep.
Have you guys had any issues with shared drives not being able to be accessed after updating to Windows 10 2004? If so, what's your fix? I set a GPO to map the drives, but still have issues sometimes after it works for days. Jerry A.
I haven't seen that issue. Colby, have you seen it? Jordan?
None of my computers are on 2004 yet, and I haven't heard of anyone complaining about that here.
So we haven't seen anything like that on our side.
Haven't seen it so far. Don't know what to say. Good luck. Sorry.
Guys, I'm new to PDQ Inventory and Deploy, and I'm looking for the bonus content from old webcasts, but my Google Foo has failed me. Is there somewhere that I can access the old bonus content? JJ, or I guess I could even answer that one.
It's gone.
It's gone.
And it's gone.
It blew up into subatomic particles.
Yeah, there was no backup.
It was recycled. Those electrons have been recycled, guys. Sorry.
If it is one of the bonus codes you look for is PowerShell that I've worked on, we had someone where it was gone where I still had it and we were able to get it to them. So if it is a PowerShell thing you're looking for, send over a ticket on that one, and if I can find it, we'll get it back over to you. It's a long shot, but it's not a definite no.
Sorry.
Definite maybe, possibly.
Yeah, it's just the consequence of our old system.
Yeah.
The old live top PDQ. There was a bug and it blasted it away, and there was no backup. So
Boom.
there you go.
How many people have problems with system IPs changing constantly due to VPN connections, and the IPs are stale or incorrect, so that by the time you want to deploy or scan again, it is a mismatched IP? I have to close PDQ, flush DNS on the PC, and open PDQ again to maybe fix this issue. Any ideas, guys? Dominic M.
I think this is a very, very common occurrence. Okay, again, I'm at the YouTube channel, guys. This right here, Josh did an amazing job using your VPN to manage your remote computers. A lot of that, you have to have forwarding from your VPN if it's not touching, your DNS directly. A lot to go in there, but scavenging, and I just watched that. It's 27 minutes, but it'll point you in the right direction, and yeah.
So I don't know if it's from that webcast, but there was one where we came up with the idea to have PowerShell to do a more aggressive scavenging.
That is right.
That is on the PDQ Git bonus content repository. It is very, very aggressive, so read through, make sure
Read it before you do it.
Yeah.
Well, the nice thing about flushing DNS, it's pretty insignificant on the console. It doesn't do a whole.
The flushing DNS is fine, but the way that designates something as stale, you can set to very aggressive.
Okay.
So it's just one of those. It works. I have tested that thoroughly. It's just if it's more aggressive than what you're thinking for, it could cause problems. So just make sure you read through it if you're planning on using it.
And we are 2 minutes into a 1 minute question. Kelly.
And we have a few more to go. Are there any known issues with 1909 and PDQ? Thanks, Guy J.
No. Colby, you guys are testing, 1909.
The one thing that I know of that isn't actually directly related to our products, I think it started in 1809 or 1903. There's like a bug with the service manager where if you have it set to default, then deployments and scans may sit in connecting for 45 seconds before they finally connect. And the way to fix that is to go to Options, Preferences, and then I think it's under Performance, maybe? Yeah, that Service Manager TCP connection. You see how we have it disabled there? That makes it connect in like 5 seconds instead of 45.
Now, are there any caveats if they're jumping multiple, domains or anything like that might cause issues there?
I'm not sure, but one thing to know about, or a couple things to know about this setting is that this is actually changing settings in the Service Manager service. This is not a PDQ setting, so this may affect other applications on your system. The other thing is that in my testing, changing this does not take effect until you restart your computer.
So not just restart the services, restart the whole computer.
I don't know if I've tried restarting the service since it's sort of a core Windows service. I'm sort of afraid to do that instead of just restarting the computer.
Hey, if Colby restarts, I restart. That's all I have to say.
Any news on an agent replacement? Shannon H.
Go ahead, Jordan.
So it's not an agent itself, but it is what we're saying that allows connectivity to remote machines.
Absolutely.
It's hard to give an exact date just because you can't be 100%, but it is close.
It is in
Say
private
2
beta
or
right
3
now.
weeks.
It's
Yeah.
in private beta. We can say that, yeah.
Can we be confident
I
about
guess
saying
I
2 or
just
3
did, huh?
weeks?
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah, we can say 2-3 weeks.
Okay. So stay tuned. It's going to be awesome.
Lex, can you please explain licensing?
Absolutely. We license by living, breathing sysadmin. So let's say I'm going to use it and Jordan's going to use it. We need 2 licenses. Let's say I'm going to use it and Jordan's going to use it, and we're going to install it on 50 machines. We need 2 licenses. Let's say I'm going to install or use it and Jordan's going to use it, and we got 800 machines, end nodes. It's still just the 2 licenses for living, breathing sysadmin. So, and then if you get up above 15 and you can have a single server installation, you can do an enterprise SL. It's always best to just contact sales@pdq.com and we can explain that to you. It's kind of a price break when you start getting over 15 admins. Boy, it sounds like I've said that before, huh?
A couple times.
2 more questions, guys. I keep seeing unable to create target directories in inventory. B. Womack.
Unable to create target directories. I would imagine that's got to be a
Permissions issue. But
yeah,
I've never
permissions
seen
or
anything like that.
firewall, maybe. Colby, or maybe both.
Yeah, I don't think that I think I've seen that randomly in the past. I don't think I've seen it consistently. I would definitely check to make sure that your scan user has permission to write to the C Windows or the admin $share, which I think is just C Windows. And yeah, make sure you're not like blocking SMB or anything like that. And if all else fails, contact support.
You know, I like to open a remote repair and just analyze the machine, and it'll go and tell you fairly quickly if you have access to those things. So,
Yeah.
And that was under help. Open a remote repair.
Final question. I'm assuming this is Wake on LAN. Is it possible to have it pull MAC addresses from DHCP if not already within the database? Guy J.
I don't think you can grab them from DHCP.
Nope.
You can use the MAC that's in the record for that device.
Yeah, so it has to be in inventory. Again, you'd find that under computer information. There's my MAC address right there. So,
Yep.
well, hopefully that has been somewhat helpful. We hacked the registry, as Shane loves me to say. We moved databases to different machines. We moved a database to a different drive. Showed you a couple of ways to do that. We showed you some gotchas, and ultimately you got to see me troubleshoot my poor ability to type. So thank you guys for watching. I'm Lex, Jordan, and Colby from PDQ.com. We'll catch you later.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Congratulations, Jim L. and Jerry A., winners of PDQ swag. Send us your info at webcast@pdq.com. Thanks again for joining us, and have a happy sysadmin day tomorrow, and please check your inbox for our gift to you. Have a great week, and we'll see you back here next time.